Good evening, and welcome to the Boise School District Board of Trustees meeting for March 10th. Like to welcome everybody here tonight. Like also to remind everybody, we conduct our meetings according to our core values of respect, dignity, honesty, responsibility, and teamwork. And thank everybody else here for doing the same. Should be a great meeting. We're going to go ahead and start out today with, I think, Pledge of Allegiance from Whitney Elementary. So come on in.
Juramento a la bandera. Juro fidelidad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América. El pública. Una nación bajo Dios, libre con libertad y justicia para todos. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Now, if you'll just stay there for just a second, Trustee Hassler is going to come and talk to y'all for a second.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. Muy bien, muy bien. We're so happy to have you guys here with us tonight. Will you introduce yourselves and tell us who your teacher is in your classroom? Are you guys all in the same classroom together? Homeroom. Tell me your homeroom and introduce me to your teacher in your dual language class.
My homeroom teacher is Miss Smith, and my other teacher is Miss Music. Alex. My name's Alex.
My teacher is Miss Smith, and Miss Music is my other teacher. My name is Santiago Novoa. My teacher is Miss Music. My other teacher is Miss Smith. My name's Cashton. My name's Larkin, and my teacher is Miss Music and Miss Smith.
My name's Sammy, and my homeroom is Miss Smith.
Sayla, and my homeroom is Miss Music, and my other teacher is Miss Smith. My name is Oliver Wiley, and my homeroom teacher is Miss Smith. My name's Asa Corright, and my Spanish teacher is Miss Smith, also my homeroom, and my Miss Music is my English teacher.
We are so happy that we got to have all of you come tonight and say the pledge for us in English and Spanish. We love that you're doing the dual language program. Thank you for coming tonight. Will you guys all find where your mom and dad or whoever's come with you tonight? Before you go, I want you to wave to them from up here. Can you just wave to them and tell them that you're so happy they came to support you? Okay, or wave to your teacher too. Okay, perfect. Well, there you go, you're up there. There you go. Okay, so I want to give you guys a gift from the Boise School District. These are special rulers that actually come in handy and are cool. If you touch them, they will change color. So you got to hold them for a little bit, and your hands got to be a little bit, maybe, I think, cold. And they're going to turn kind of white, okay? So use these rulers and remember how awesome you are and how happy we are to have you in our district. You guys are what makes our district fantastic. Thank you guys for coming tonight and being with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys coming. Appreciate the parents for bringing the kids as well. Makes our board meeting. Next, we're going to move on to the Red Apple Award tonight, and Trustee Donovan.
It is with great honor that we are here tonight to recognize Cassie Luna. Since 1974, Boise School District has recognized outstanding professional educators with the Red Apple Award, the highest award presented monthly during the school year to certified staff members. The Red Apple honors teachers who consistently perform above and beyond the call of duty, their responsibilities supporting the district's mission, educating today for a better tomorrow. Tonight, we are honored to recognize an individual who has devoted nearly 13 years to serving the students of the Boise School District. Cassie Luna is the heart and soul of the Dennis Technical Education Center teaching and learning community. Cassie's greatest superpower is her ability to provide every teacher with individualized, unwavering support, helping them create meaningful learning experiences for all students. She understands learning and students' thinking and relates to both students and teachers as few can. Professionally, but with an eye towards empathy and human connection, she is a trusted thinking partner for educators, instilling confidence and encouraging experimentation with new and innovative teaching strategies. Cassie is a Swiss Army knife at the DTech, always ready to step in, solve problems, evaluate initiatives with her vast experience. She was instrumental in developing BSD's 8th grade health curriculum, collaborating with St. Luke's Sports Medicine Concussion Clinic to integrate a research-based concussion until now used by districts across the state. From enhancing DTech's marketing and online presence to guiding professional development, she improves everything she touches. Cassie's impact predates her formal coaching role. She was already an informal coach pioneering professional learning communities and developing the collaborative learning community model at Fairmont. She played a key role in implementing Avid strategies, not just in her classroom, but across the school, shaping a positive and inclusive school culture. Her expertise in instructional leadership, sound grading practices, and school-wide systems has influenced countless educators. Beyond DTech, Cassie has built a nationwide network of career tech educational instructional leaders, ensuring that DTech remains at the forefront of best practices and innovation. Whether presenting at a conference, designing curriculum, or developing resources that benefit teachers across BSD, she is always looking for ways to enhance education and support her colleagues. Cassie Luna is far more than a teacher and a coach. She is a visionary, a mentor, and a force for excellence. DTech and the BSD are incredibly fortunate to have such a dedicated instructional leader, and we thank her for her relentless passion and contributions to education. It is our honor to present the Red Apple Award to Cassie Luna, Learning Coach, Dennis Technical Education Center, in recognition of her outstanding service to education and her dedication to educating today for a better tomorrow.
I didn't want to stumble. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. All right, I did write some notes because I didn't want to forget anybody, as I am so honored to get this award. And public speaking is not my strong suit. In front of 8th graders, for some reason, I'm comfortable, but this is terrifying. So first, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Board of Trustees for this incredible honor. I'm truly honored to receive the Red Apple Award, and I'm deeply grateful for this recognition. I would not be standing here without the people who have helped shape my path in the Boise School District. I'd like to thank Brian Walker and Quayne Kenyon for taking a chance on me and welcoming me into this district. I'd like to thank the staff members at Fairmont that have gone through a great deal of ups and downs alongside of me, and the staff at DTech for their willingness to be vulnerable, to learn with me, and to challenge themselves alongside their students. A special thank you to my current administrator, Jeff Roberts. Jeff, your mentorship, leadership, and partnership have been invaluable in helping me grow in this role. You've supported and encouraged me every step of the way, and I feel incredibly fortunate to work alongside you. To Jody Mills, thank you for seeing potential in me that I didn't yet see in myself. Taking on this coaching role has been one of the biggest leaps that I've ever made, and your belief in me gave me the courage to take that first step. Ultimately, I'm so happy that my answer was yes. To the district coaching team, Rob, Annie, Jenny, and Maggie, the high school coaches, and the entire coaching community, I'm so lucky to learn from all of you. Our coaches have challenged me to grow and continue to be vulnerable with learning, And I'm so thankful to be part of a community that strives to make an impact. And of course, my family, thank you for supporting me through the best and most challenging days in education. Your encouragement and support is what always keeps me grounded. I strive to always, no matter what, make my family proud of the person that I am and to be a role model that my boys can look up to. Earlier this year, a fellow coach gave me a small gift that said fearless on it. I'm anything but fearless at this moment, and overall, I really don't view myself that way. I'm hesitant, I'm an overthinker, I get nervous very easily. I'm a rule follower. When I consider myself fearless, not quite. However, over the last 2 years, I have learned to fear less. Stepping into my current role as a learning coach meant stepping into the unknown. Any school and set of staff can feel strange and uncharted, but especially at DTech, there isn't a single content area that I can claim expertise in. Yet in these last 2 years, I've earned both my OSHA as well as my forklift certifications. I found myself in a welding booth with a student guiding me on how to weld. I've laid in a hospital bed as a CNA student, practiced making an occupied bed. I've climbed a fire truck ladder, interviewed cybersecurity students about open source software, which I do not understand. Asked a room full of welding students to review theory concepts by playing Jeopardy, and I've learned over and over again that the best way to support students is to fear less, to ask questions, to be willing to fail, and to lean on the incredible people that are around me. This award is not just recognition to me, it's a reminder to keep learning, to keep growing, and to keep fearing less. It's also a reminder that stepping into spaces where I'm not the expert and where I may not always feel confident can provide opportunities to partner with others and together make a meaningful impact. Thank you again for this honor and allowing me to be a small part of this incredible community.
Get the microphone, come on. Well, congratulations again. Unfortunately, our Golden Apple Award winner won't be here tonight. She's out ill, so we'll get her in April, which is great. But congratulations, Cassie and family. I love to see the family here too, because without them, you can't do what you do for us. So thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to ASB reports, and we're going to start out with Capitol High. And actually, if you came for the Red Apple Award, you are free to go if you choose, or you can stay for the rest of the board meeting.
Totally stay. Oh, I think that bug was on the outside. It's like a little It's so you know. Me too, I guess.
We lost a whole side. But you guys are good to go.
Okay, perfect. All right, sorry.
Good evening, distinguished board members, President Wagers, and Superintendent Roberts. My name is Emma Oliver, and I'm here with Ellie Mazeral, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak to you about Capitol High School.
So first, we would like to touch on who made your bags that you guys have in front of you. So this is a picture of two of our art classes and the specific students that made each of your bags. We had this idea and we wanted to try to incorporate some of our other classes in it. So we had our art students also do that. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and just one quick thing about the bags, the items in there are numbered. We'll let you know when to pull out each item. I think they're all wrapped, so they'll be kind of a surprise. But first, we'd like to recap about our feeder school basketball nights. These took place at girls and boys varsity home basketball games and would honor a different elementary school each game, and we also did our junior highs, River Glen and Fairmont. We would designate a section on the top part of our gym for the students and their families to sit. And a few students from our student council would visit the school the day before to kind of hang out with the kids and hand out flyers advertising for the game. Students from the elementary schools and their families all got in free to the basketball games. And there was a student council member at the door for when they came in to welcome them and hand them a sticker. Yeah, it was super fun. We had a lot of participation. It's just a great way to get involved with our feeder schools.
Okay, and then this next part will be item number 1 that is in your bags. If you guys can go find that as I'm talking about what we did. So we took a day out of, I think about a week and a half ago, where we went to River Glen, Fairmont, as well as Valley View. And we played games with them and talked through leadership dilemmas because we met with their leadership classes. And then at Valley View, we just went to recess and played with them. And then also did like some leadership skits where we had them like present and they just got really into it and like all acting and with characters. And it was super fun. It was just a great day for us to familiarize ourselves with our feeder schools and also connect with our leadership classes at our junior highs, especially given that applications for our student council are coming up. So it was just a really great way for them to see us interact, get to know us, and just feel out like the concept of Capital Student Council. So this is where one of the games that we played, that's where the spoon is. So basically one of the games we played is a cotton ball race. So you stand in a line from tallest to shortest, and you basically, I'm gonna give a visual. You basically are like this, and then you try to like dip to the other person, go down the line. And so we are gonna show you with some of our Capital Student Council people, but we would love if you guys, a couple of you wanted to come down and race against us. If you're down, that's why they're in bags. There's no pressure. You can say no. It's just for 30 seconds. So, yay. Okay. Okay. We'll have a rematch. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, thank you guys so much for participating in that. You guys did great. Not as good as us, but you guys did great.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is our Make a Wish. So you can now locate item number 2. So this year's annual Make a Wish drive, hosted by DECA, was for Bryn, a 10-year-old who was diagnosed with leukemia 2 years ago and is in her last year of treatment. She currently goes to White Pine Elementary, and her wish is to go to Disney World and stay at Give the Kids the World Village. DECA made and sold shirts to students to help raise money, as well as stars. And we were able to bring a few shirts for you guys, so those are for you to keep. They're handmade by the DECA. And let's see. Together, Capital raised $9,880.50. And that's just a quick breakdown of how many stars were sold per each class, as well as staff and outside of Capital.
All right, and then the next thing is SAT Day. We started this last year, and it's just a good way to kind of ease the juniors and make it more of a conversation. So last year, what we did was our goal was to get juniors excited about the SAT and help motivate them to try their best. So starting with, we did an SAT prep day on Khan Academy, and we just pushed them to get involved in that, take the course. We also contacted food trucks like Guac and Roll, Mad Mac, and Churro Bros for after they take the SAT, they can go enjoy some food. And then we do senior notes where the seniors write the juniors' notes. So if you guys look at item number 3 in your bags, it actually is a good luck note that we're hoping you guys can write if you ever take time and then give it back to us. We'll print them and give them to all the juniors that are also taking it, just so they have the seniors and then as well as like people in the district looking out for them, cheering them on. We think it would be great. And then we do snacks before and snacks and after. But yeah.
Okay, so our annual Fun Day event is just around the corner, and if you'd like to pull out item number 4, we'd like to formally invite you to join our Fun Day Fun on May 2nd. Fun Day is hands down one of my favorite events throughout the year, and it's a great way to celebrate a year's worth of accomplishments and hard work. It has varied over the years, but it's typically fourth period through lunch. And we round up a bunch of food trucks like the ones listed and have many different outdoor games and activities like crossnet, spike ball, karaoke, bracelet making, and many others. It's definitely an event you don't want to miss out on.
All right, and then the next thing that we wanted to touch on is real CHS. So one thing that's really important to us is just getting our school more involved. Oh yeah, number 5, you guys can go ahead and open while I'm talking. So we really were trying to push advertising. Every year we want to have more and more people come. So we had 20 posts on our social media in a span of 2 weeks, including like a 10-day countdown. And then we also made over 100 posters and had them up around our school and pushed for people to get free t-shirts, as you can see on the top of it, if they come help set up. And this turned out to be amazing. We had 31% of our school show up, and we also sold out the gym within the first half of our girls game, and our girls played before our boys, and people were like getting turned away at the door. It was unreal. Yeah, Miss Roberts was there, she would know. And then we also did another thing where we had dress up days in 3 days leading up to the game, and we tried to kind of have a fun little play on them. So Wednesday was 60s themed because Capital was built in 1965 while Centennial was built later in the 80s. And then Thursday we had state hoodie or sportswear because last year our boys basketball team beat out Centennial to go to state. So it's kind of having them wear the state hoodies, and all of our sports wear their state hoodies because it was just kind of funny. And then Friday we had our real CHS or Capital gear if you don't have a real CHS shirt. And I think that having the dress up days definitely helped people show up because it was just more of a conversation starter. And yeah, overall, both girls and boys won. It was great.
The last event we'd like to highlight was from this year of our Mr. CHS show. This is like a pageant / variety show consisting of senior boys to find out who the real Mr. CHS is. It includes a fashion show, trivia, and a dance battle. We also like to get some of the other clubs at Capital involved with intermissions, like we did a preview of our upcoming musical, Chicago. We did a choir performance, and the multicultural club did a dance. And then we also revealed our Sweethearts dance at our Mr. CHS show. And we also, one of my favorite parts about this event is that we have it free admission. This gets lots of kids there and lots of students involved in it and keeps it super accessible. So that is all we have for you today. Thank you once again for the opportunity to speak to all of you about the wonderful things happening at Capital.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Good job. Trustees, any comments, questions? Can't leave yet.
Yeah.
Superintendent Roberts.
Thanks. So I have kind of a funny story to tell you guys about judging the real CHS. So they had 2 folks there from the Guard who I think do the work with recruiting in our schools. And
the one gentleman who was supposed to be there to be judging for Centennial got there a little bit late.
Mhm.
So he was cheering for Capital the entire time. It was great. Yeah, and I could have corrected him, but I just didn't want to interrupt because he was
Yeah.
really enjoying the game.
Right. Just let him
Yeah.
enjoy it.
So, and also this was really, really fun. What a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Langley.
Just as always, I'm just thrilled with how you guys incorporate your feeder schools and do so much to make the kids feel welcome so that they're always on the journey from the beginning to the end of their time with us, that they know they're part of the community of Capital. So very exciting. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else? Go Eagles. Boys next.
Good evening, President Wagers, Superintendent Roberts, and other members of the board. I'm Reagan Lyons, Board's ASB President.
And I'm Josie Gregory, one of Bora's junior representatives.
And yeah, we're here to talk about what we've been up to this semester and what we're looking forward to. All right, our first event of the semester was actually done with Capital. It was our Griffin Cup and our pep rally. So at our pep, so the Griffin Cup, if you don't know, is a Bora versus Capital basketball game where our varsity girls and our varsity boys compete head to head. And we alternate locations every other year. And this is one of Bora's biggest basketball games. And this is run through Bora and Capital Rowdies. And then during our lunch that day, we had a pep rally, which our student council put on, and both of our basketball teams came to.
One of our next events that we have is our signing day. This is a day for us to celebrate all of our high school athletes moving up to the collegiate level. This year, we got to have 6 of our athletes, 2 softball players, 2 football players, 1 baseball player, and 1 girls basketball player. 2 of the memorable players, Kayla Campbell will be going to Eastern New Mexico University for softball, which is a District 2 school, and then Austin Flaherty will be going to Idaho State for football.
Our next activity is our Bora's Got Talent. This is actually tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And this is an annual event that's become a big tradition at Bora. This gives all of our students a chance to show off their talents and to just entertain other students. This isn't just for fun though. We have 3 cash prizes, with first place getting $100, second place getting $50, and third place getting $25. And our judges for that are all Bora staff members.
Our next upcoming event will be our Teacher Appreciation Week. Since this hasn't happened yet, we'll be giving you guys a rundown of last year. So last year we did a Spirit Week to allow our students to be able to interact more with their teachers. We gave them different dress-up days and different questions to ask their teachers about their high school and college experiences. The second thing we did, we got a teacher gift, which we actually got the idea from Capital at our last Student Council Summit. So we sent out a Google form to all of our students to include words or phrases that they thought described their teachers. And then we compiled all of these words onto a compilation of word art and put their name on it and sent it out to them the Friday at the end of the week. So this is our example for our student council advisor, which was super fun to create. Our last thing that we did is we got treats and food for our teachers and staff during the week. So we had student council, parents and students provide breakfast burritos for breakfast. Our boosters did a lunch for them, and then we got Slow River Coffee to come at the very end of the week to provide them with coffee and treats.
An event we had a couple weeks ago was our sophomore fundraiser. We did this to help fundraise for our teacher appreciation gift this year. And our sophomores decided what's a better way to raise money than a raffle. So they made some baskets, which included a Bora gear basket, Life is Good basket, and they contacted Boise State and got a whole bunch of Boise State gear for one of our baskets.
One of our next things coming up is all of our spring sports are starting this week. So we've got boys baseball is happening on Wednesday, same with girls softball, and then tennis is on Thursday with track on Friday. We try super hard as a student council and a community to support all of our athletes, and so this is a great way to start.
An activity that's going to include all of the school district, or at least high schools, is coming up right after spring break, which is our student council summit. This will include over 100 student council members throughout all the high schools in the Boise School District. It'll have a catered lunch. Crap. And catered lunch and games for all students. We're going to have a couple of guest speakers, and we're going to give every single high school a chance to share what makes their student council unique and some ideas that they've had. And this is going to take place at the district center on March 27th.
One of our next events that's coming up is our school musical. So this one we have every other year, and this year we are doing the Drowsy Chaperone, which falls on April 10th and 12th. This year we get to have our band accompanying all of our singers and our actors on stage. So they'll be playing all of the live music with us. This is a great event and full club thing to do for a large participation from all grade levels, including our freshmen. It creates a super close-knit community, and it's a great thing to attend.
After that, we have our prom, and that's going to be April 26th at the Knitting Factory. Every year, we've made it a tradition now that we're going to have our students vote on what they want the theme for prom to be that year. And this year, our students decided that Starry Night was the best choice. And then tickets are going to be $30 for a person and $50 for 2 people.
Some of our last events that we have are our senior activities to close out the year. Our 2 main events will be our senior sunset and our lucky dog. These both will occur at the very end, like the last week for the seniors. Senior sunset is an event that we use to celebrate the close of all of our seniors' high school experiences. We have a senior sunrise at the beginning to celebrate the opening, which is a super fun thing for them. This will take place on the Bora turf out at Bora, and it's super fun with so many fun activities like cornhole, spike ball, and a wonderful environment for all the seniors. Our lucky dog is our presentation or award ceremony for our senior superlatives. So we get all of the seniors together, and through a voting process, they voted for who they think have like memorable things for their senior year, best smile, other stuff like that. And so they do this whole thing, and we get this big assembly together, and we create bone medals, so lucky dog, with our best special ed kids that we can give out to them.
And thank you so much for your time.
Great presentation. Thank you much. Any questions, comments from trustees? No? Trustee Hassler?
This is actually for all of you. The Leader Summit, that sounds fantastic, where you guys are all going to gather together and collaborate and share. I love that because I come to these meetings and I hear you all present, and I love what every one of our student councils is doing in our district. So I love that you're going to come together and bring those ideas to each other. That's really awesome.
And I think it's great that you're using actually other ideas from other, and nobody should mind that. I mean, that's the great part. We try and do that actually from other school boards. We do the same thing. It's like, oh, well, let's learn from other school boards so we can be better. Well, you guys are learning from each other as councils to be better. So great. Good job for both sides on that. Anything else? Trustee Langley.
I would just say it's wonderful that you guys are doing the talent show too. That's such a neat way to celebrate people who maybe don't get to show their gifts off in their classes. So that's really neat.
Did Trustee Gregory?
Well, yeah, I guess I just have one question. When I look at this litany of activities, I can tell why I don't see you guys very much. And so Josie's my granddaughter. And I usually have to have her over for cousin dinner on Sunday night just so I get to see her, because chasing her around to all these things gets to be really hectic, and I just can't show up everywhere. So they're having a great year. So thanks for coming. No question.
That's
Grandma privilege.
good. Grandma privilege is always well taken. All right. Well, thank you very much, all of you, for being here tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time, and have a good rest of the night. Next, move on to consent agenda items. Is there any item a trustee would like to pull for separate consideration? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion. Trustee Greeley?
Thank you, President Wagers. I move to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 5 and closures 1 through 19.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items. Any questions, comments? Nope. With that, we'll move to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move right on to reports and recommendations. And I think Supervisor Ray is first.
Thank you very much. Thank you, President Wagers, Superintendent Roberts, and Board of Trustees for giving this time to give you an update on our textbook adoptions. We recently added, well, we will be adding College Trig to our course sequence for next school year. So this is a new course after several years of like re-looking at our learning intentions and success criteria and our successes in our different courses. We revamped that over the last 3 years. So this will be the last phase into that process. We've kind of, each year we've scaled it up. So next year will be the last new course in that. And so when we initially started this, we looked at curriculum that we could use for all of the courses if we thought that that was what's best. And so we initially adopted the OpenStax resource for college algebra last year, and it was a success this year. And so we looked at it again for college trig, but we of course opened it up to everything. And when we had the teachers look at all these different resources, they brought it down to the 2 that they wanted to really review, which was from Savvis and from OpenStax. And so when we got all together and picked those 2, that was kind of the first part. And then the next part would be the committee. We opened it up for a couple months, and we got 5 parents to volunteer to spend an evening with us talking about math. And we had 4 teachers and 2 students, which ended up being kind of 2 groups of tables that worked together to evaluate what the teachers had put in. And then they did a self-reflection on both resources. So they kind of walked through the same rubric on that January 14th. The committee looked at a lot of different things, and there's a whole bunch of stuff here. But the highlights were that the students and the parents really liked the access that the College Trig and OpenStax gave, which honestly surprised all of us. We were thinking, really, that's the one you want? And they tried it on their phones, they tried it on their app. Like, we really dove into it. And we were really impressed with how the flow went and all the resources. And we've been impressed with the college algebra textbook that all the links were still working. Because it's an open source, it means that you have the nation as a collaborator instead of just the area. So that's also been really positive. And even when I screen new candidates for our district, they're like, oh yeah, I use OpenStax. So like, it's really a great resource to kind of lean into. It's also very cost effective because it's an open source. So the line item is very small in relationship to textbook adoptions. Because we did the college algebra one earlier, that we all went with our old mindset that all kids need a book. Then when they arrived and they looked like 1980s phone books, people decided they might not want them as much. And so when we decided to move ahead with this proposal, we are looking at having a smaller
investment in the hardbound items and really leaning into the digital because the kids really like it and the teachers have adapted, and so it's been really positive. The feedback that they wanted us to kind of opportunities we wanted to be really careful with is the solution manual. Because it's an open source, there's the solution manual is a little hard to get, so they wanted to make sure that we could help our teachers find that. And then there aren't tests pre-made for our teachers. And so when we're looking for opportunities, we found another resource that is, again, another open source that communities, colleges, and different sorts of people have taken the same book and made these assessments and things like that. So we'll spend some time in August diving into that and picking some of our favorites and creating our own on that same platform. So that one opportunity turned into a possible solution for next year. And so in closing, the textbook, the committee recommends that the board adopts the pre-calculus. It's called pre-calculus because of our revamping of the scope and sequence. It's not just the traditional college trig, because that's really, the content's really only about a semester. And so we're really leaning into some of those pre-calculus topics that set kids up for success in AP Calc the following year. So that is why it's called pre-calculus and not college trig. So pre-calculus textbook published by OpenStax for our college trig course for our grades 10, 12. Any questions?
Any questions for Supervisor Ray? Trustee Hassler?
Were the teachers that will be teaching this class involved in the?
Completely. They were part of the very original group that chose the textbooks. They evaluated all, I had lots of them to pick through, and they narrowed it down to those two, and then they were the teachers that came that same night. Yes. Yeah.
Does it lend itself to standards-based classroom?
So the odd thing about our courses past integrated 3 are college courses. And so our state doesn't really make standards for college courses. And so there are few. However, we wrote learning intentions for this already because it's a new course and it was a really great opportunity for us to write that. So we already have learning intentions and success criteria and scales written for this course, ready to go. So yes, but a little bit different than maybe traditionally thought.
Great.
Yeah.
Trustee Gregory?
Thank you, President Wagers. What's the balance that is going to, what kind of balance will there be between digital and traditional?
Like instruction
Yeah,
or?
Instruction and actual applications. What will students be doing? Are they going to be on digital platforms all the time?
No, the textbook itself is on the platform. So it is a traditional textbook that has worked examples and things like that. So there is, but just as a PDF for lack of a better description, but there are elements that have some like practice assessments and things like that that are our teachers may or may not use, but it won't be, it's like you open it up and you see the problem and you do it on paper. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Trustee Gregory?
I had one other.
Yes.
How long has it been since we've adopted a curriculum for this?
So the pre-calculus, so this class has replaced our pre-calculus. So pre-calculus used to do both college algebra and college trig at the same time. And we worked to separate those for many reasons. But so now it replaced our college pre-calculus class. And that textbook, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's 1998. So it's been a couple bits.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
It's either my daughter's birthday or my son's. So it was either 21 or I can't remember.
You need newer kids. Any other questions or comments? Dave's going to get himself in trouble again. All right. But I think we need a motion. Trustee Gregory.
President Wagers, I move that we approve the adoption of the committee's recommendation of open SACs
Pre-calculus.
pre-calculus.
Yep.
And so how do you, yeah, that's my motion. I'll ask my question later.
So it's been moved. Is there a second? Second from trustee Binion. Any discussion from trustees?
I just had one question.
Trustee Gregory?
If it's pre-calculus, but it's college trig,
So,
what are we going to call it?
so it's, the course is called College Trig.
Uh-huh.
The book is pre-calculus because when we developed the class, it was College Trig with some pre-calculus topics, but it's College Trig as its primary, and our focus is Trig, but setting up for success in AP Calc.
Okay.
Yeah. So the class is called College Trig.
Okay. Any other? Trustee Hassler?
So just to clarify, it's
Yeah.
not AP, it's not concurrent enrollment. it's
It
just
is
title.
concurrent.
It is
enrollment.
concurrent.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So we're meeting a standard of a college.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
And also I wanted to let you know, I think your finding of the resources for the teachers to have the tests already banked and put together,
Yeah.
that kind of answered one of my questions. So I appreciated that you guys did that work that'll come in the fall.
Any other comments, questions? Not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of adopting open stacks for our pre-calc trigger, one of those things. Textbook? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Textbook was adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oops, I don't know why I did that. All right. Next, Deputy Superintendent Smith.
Good evening, President Wagers, trustees, and Superintendent Roberts. As outlined in enclosure 21, through our RFP process, the district solicited written proposals from consulting firms to develop a comprehensive long-range facilities master plan. We accepted proposals until 2:00 p.m. on Friday, February 7th, 2025. Proposals were evaluated and scored in 3 key areas, including company profile, process and fees, and past performance with a maximum possible score of 100 points. And through that process, the district recommends awarding the RFP to HPM. As you will recall from our last meeting, here is a timeline that we're on for our long-range facilities master planning services. As you can see, tonight is the recommendation to the board. We will kick off our master planning services July 1st, and we'll run those through the 2025 through 2026 school year. And with that, I would ask for your approval of HPM as our long-range facilities master planning consulting firm. And I would ask, are there any questions?
Any questions? I always have questions, but go ahead.
Thanks, President
Trustee
Wagers.
Gregory.
I was just going to say thank you for going through this process and outlining it. And I know that it's a lot of work, but it's such a good part of the process is to be out there and receive these proposals and see what the differences are between companies and the services that really resound with us. And having been on a previous process like that, it was just educational and informational. And I've never regretted engaging this kind of service for our community because they do an excellent job in what we ask of them. And we can tailor that to fit our community. So I think that it's an excellent move to make this higher.
Thank you.
And I always like to ask questions I already know the answer to. So this costs how much? Just so we know what we're approving?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the results of the RFP came back ranging anywhere from 300,000 to 700,000. And the firm that we're going with landed right there in the middle, approximately $500,000 for these services.
Great. And then could you just little explanation. So as we go through this process, I mean, it's like more than a year-long process. Yeah. And then how long will we use it after that? And how do we use it in the district after we get those things?
Yeah, President Wagers and trustees, that's a great question. So the process we will engage in officially starting July 1st, but we will start engaging with the consulting firm probably right away. reaching out to them and start some strategy so that they can hit the ground running July 1st. The process is going to include a lot of different factors. One of it is going to be gathering of the information. I think kind of to what Nancy was articulating, where they're going to be surveying the community. They're going to be holding focus groups with family and neighborhoods and parents and constituents, finding out what is important to them, what they want to see in their schools, what do they value, and that information that they gather through that process will help to inform the recommendations they bring to us. They're also going to be doing an in-depth demographic review and study of our demographics to give us some long-range planning for what we're going to see with enrollments. And so that's another considerable part of the process. The other part is that they're going to be doing the condition assessments of our facilities. So they're going to be going in, digging into the data that we already have in our system to look at the physical condition of our facilities, but they're also going to be looking at the functional adequacy of our facilities. So they're going to be looking at, yeah, you have a nice facility, or maybe this facility needs some work, but does it actually meet the educational needs of the students in the building? Does it have the right kind of lab space? Does it have the right kind of classrooms to meet the modern day course offerings that we may want to offer? So all of that's going to come together into the recommendation package that will eventually come to the board. And then that information, honestly, will drive us for the next 10 years. And that's what we're just wrapping up our last long-term plan. And I actually just today, I think Tom's in the audience, I actually was just asking him a question today, and he's like, oh, from the last study, this is the information. So we use that information from the last long-range facilities master planning every day. And it drives a lot of what we do in F&O, a lot of the changes that we've had when it comes to how we track the condition of our systems all came from that last process. So it's going to set a baseline and a foundation for at least the next 10 years, if not longer, for us.
Great. Thank you. I mean, that's exactly what I want. As some trustee who served on the facilities committee, I think my whole time here, 10 plus years, we rely on those studies, and it allows us to plan and allows Tom to figure out where he's going to spend, what maintenance needs to be done where and what times. And it's been invaluable for that piece as far as facility management goes. Trustee Gregory.
I wanted to add, President Wagers, that not only did this give us in the past a 10-year master's facilities plan, it also gave us a template to share with our community. And they could look down the list and find their school and go over and see what the assessment was, what the projected needs were, and they could react to that. And I think that one of the strengths of hiring a facilitator like this is that they are willing to go out and let the public react to what their findings are, just kind of like a verification, so that everybody in the community can see what our plan is, how it affects them and their specific community, and then that it means support for the bond.
Yeah, President Wagers and Trustee Gregory, absolutely. And I take it even one step further. The plan that they're getting to look at and reflect on came from their voice, right? And that's the great part of it, is that it's input from the community to develop the plan, and then they get to go back to the plan to look at the work that we're doing and what they're getting from their funds.
Follow up. Deputy Superintendent Smith, are we realizing any savings because of software that we have appropriated since our last interaction with this kind of provider? I know that the Facilities Committee has acquired some things that help us with managing our facilities.
Yeah, President Wagers and Trustee Gregory, I would imagine that we are. I think I could actually have our finance department pull some information. We could get that to you. What I can say is it's helped us to be much more on top of maintaining our systems in our schools, so we're not surprised by breakdowns. We know when something needs to be addressed and taken care of before the problem occurs. And so we probably are saving money in that regard. We're not reacting. We're being proactive with maintaining and updating and replacing systems in our schools. Think HVAC, think electrical, think plumbing, things of that nature are being replaced before they break down, before they cause a problem. And so we probably are saving money, but I can work with F&O and accounting to see if we can get you some data.
Just follow that. I was just curious because 2 iterations ago, we kind of had to start from ground zero. And so I imagine that their interaction with our F&O group is going to be much more robust and interactive because we have been building on what the work that was done the previous time. And I'm just glad to see us in a good position to take this on again.
Yeah, President Wagers and Trustee Gregory, that's a great point. And actually, we crafted our RFP accordingly. And when we reviewed the plans, it was interesting to see the companies that responded recognizing the foundation that was already laid, and those that didn't understand the district and didn't understand that we already had a strong system in place for tracking those systems. And so absolutely, that's put us light years ahead of where we were previously because we now have all of that data. The company coming in gets to just simply analyze that data instead of having to go out and actually walk and touch every single system in the district.
Any other questions? Trustee Benny.
Thank you, President Wagers. How does the long-range facilities plan factor into our yearly budgeting process? What's the connection between the budgeting process and the plan?
Yeah, so that's a great question, President Wagers and Trustee Benyon. That I think what you're going to find, if we can go back to that slide, maybe we can't, I don't know. So what you're going to see is we're going to be coming back to you in the fall of 2026 with a recommendation to potentially run a facilities bond based on the results of the long-range facilities master planning services. If that, if the board approves, that would most likely go on the May 2027 ballot. And then those funds would be allocated to do the work that is identified in that plan. If the board chooses not to run a bond and chooses not to go down that path, what we would do is we would allocate funds directly from the plant facility and directly from the funds that the state allocates to us for facilities. And we would have to budget and plan, and we would have to do that over a period of time. Theoretically, we wouldn't be able to accomplish nearly as much, obviously, if we don't run a bond, but we could prioritize the projects, what is the greatest need, and start working away from that standpoint. So it would become part of the annual budget if it's not part of a bond.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? With that, I'd entertain a motion.
President Wagers.
Trustee Greeley.
I move to approve awarding the RFP to HPM as outlined in enclosure 21.
Second.
Second by Trustee Langley. Any discussion among trustees? Trustee Gregory.
I just needed to comment that this is work that boards do. We have to plan. We have to take care of our facilities. It's an investment in our community and an investment in the future of our district. And it is, in my opinion, one of the beautiful things that we do. Because, I mean, to see that plan laid out before you with priorities, and it brings clarity to the work, and to ignore facilities and operations is a devastating effect on a district. And so I'm just glad that we're being proactive. We recognize that we have to start this early to get the outcome out there, and it will serve us very well.
Thank you. And as an organization that relies on neighborhood schools, and every neighborhood having schools, you know, this is why this is so important to us. All right, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Director Smith. Next, we'll move on to other business, and I think we have policy readings first and a second. Director Anderson.
Good evening. We have one exhibit for first read and two policies for second read. So if you refer to enclosure 22, we have on policy 6210, there's an exhibit that's the organizational chart. And if you're looking and playing along at home, you're looking at the draft exhibit 6210E. That is just an update of our current organizational chart. So are there any questions for that one? Excellent. Okay, so then we can go to policy revision for second reading. And these two have been before you in the last meeting. So policy 3230, student conduct, enclosure 23, if you are, again, looking at that, you can notice that we did some revision just to be more specific. It's a code of conduct about behaving in a positive manner. We decided that was more appropriate to say consistent with district values. And so we reworded that. So that one is 3230. And then the last one is 3231, and it's our bullying, hazing, and harassment. And we simply added a link to Idaho code that specifically calls out cyberbullying. So I'll stand for questions.
Any questions for Director Anderson or the Governance Committee? Trustee Greeley.
Director Anderson, was there any feedback that you received between first and second reading from anyone? I mean,
No, ma'am.
public, anything? Thank you.
Trustee Gregory.
As I was reading through both of these, recognizing that 3231 went through, that one was drafted with community input several years ago, and I was looking for changes and saw the change that had come from the committee, et cetera, and thought that one has really stood the test of time. And glad to see that we're, keeping it up and modern. But it results at second reading because the feedback that we got back from our principals, those who apply these policies, says we still have a good, strong policy. So I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, President Wagers and Trustee Gregory, I think having the policy committee of, active assistant principals and principals serves us really well because they make sure that our policies are still timely and they're still, they still match our practice. So a big shout out to them. We could not do this without them.
Any other questions?
Just a comment
Trustee Donovan.
on the student conduct. I really like that you made the language more concise, taking out the specific examples, limits of policy. So great job.
Thank you.
Any others? Trustee Gregory?
For a motion?
Yep.
President Wagers, I move approval of policy 3230 and 3231 as outlined in enclosures 23 and 24.
And effective
July
Immediately,
1.
or
July 1.
July 1.
Okay.
July 1.
Is there a second? Lots of seconds. Benyon. But Trustee Hassler really wanted it. All right, any discussion on these policies from the board? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor of approving policy 3230, student conduct and policy, and 3231, bullying, hazing, and harassment as outlined in enclosures 23 and 24, effective July 1st, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those policies pass.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Anderson. Next we will move into executive session. Trustee Greeley.
President Wagers, I move that we go into executive session according to Idaho Code 74-2061B.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Trustee Gregory. Clerk Mass, will you do a roll call? Snyder, will you do a roll call vote?
All right. Trustee Wagers.
Aye.
Trustee Greeley.
Aye.
Trustee Gregory.
Aye.
Trustee Langley.
Aye.
Trustee Benyon.
Aye.
Trustee Donovan.
Aye.
Trustee Hassler.
Aye.
Motion passes.
We will remain in recess until we come back from executive session.
The board meeting is currently in executive session and will resume shortly. board meeting is currently in executive session and will resume shortly.
There's been a motion. Is there a second to move back?
Second.
Oh, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of moving back in open session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We're back in open session. Trustee Hassler. We have no action to take out of executive session. And so we can move on to board trustee superintendent comments. Anything from the superintendency? The superintendency has had enough. Anything from trustees? They had enough? Yeah, no, I think, thank you for being at the meeting tonight. And I would entertain a motion.
President Wagers,
Trustee Gregory,
to adjourn.
move to adjourn. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.